The webinar will begin shortly. Please remain on the line. The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good evening, friends, and welcome on this very special international webinar on UAE. There is a ocean of opportunities there. We have seen the recent news also, and the latest article also from the government authority ruler of from UAE, and there are multiple other articles and news also that the government is also doing heavy investment there. We have a international uh, campus placement from our ICAI as well. Institute of Chartered Accountants of India is doing the campus placement, international campus placement. In that also there are hundred of vacancy for UAE, Dubai and Abu Dhabi. There is a physical interview session as well for Dubai and Abu Dhabi in the coming month in the January and the February. The application is already closed today itself at 2 o'clock. I don't know whether institute will extend the due date for other people, but as of now there are thousands of candidates also applied for this international opportunity, and favorable country is UAE, and there are so many hundred of companies and the audit entity have shown their interest for the hundred of vacancy. Already it's available on CMIP website of our institute, where campus placement is happening every time. Basically, it's for newly qualified, but this time is for experienced chartered accountant as an international campus placement. So very good move from the institute. And for this session, for there is a great opportunity for business people as well. There is a real actual ease of doing business for a business person, for Indian businessmen, and there are great opportunity for Indian chartered accountant as well as in practice or as an advisory, as in consultancy services. So we have here a great panel with us, CA Harikishan Rankawat sir, Vice Chairman as of now at ICAI Dubai. We welcome you, sir, and thank you so much for accepting our invitation. You are soon taking charge as well for the chairmanship for the coming year, and there are so many chartered accountant also every year coming to Dubai, and every time chapter is very helpful to each and every young chartered accountant as well. So thank you so much for being so kind every time, sir, for Indian chartered accountant. We also welcome our today's both the speaker, CA Pratik Shah and CA Ankur Jain. So we'll introduce them as well. So first, we will like to introduce our first, we can say a keynote speaker for today's session. Vice Chairman C. Harikishan Rankawat sir is a fellow chartered accountant from India and a certified public accountant CPA from USA. Sir is a senior finance professional having 26 plus years of diverse experience in various roles during his career. He is the founder and managing partner of RNG Auditors. RNG Auditors are proud alliance member of UAE International, which is a top global alliance of expert firms. Sir is presently serving as a vice chairman of ICAI Dubai chapter and also serving as a trustee, the Rajasthan Business and Professional Group at Dubai UAE. And sir is having more than 20 plus years of service as head of finance in AI Futum Engineering, AI Futum Penatech Dubai Festival City, AI Futum Real Estate, and Philip Morris and Dubai World Trade Center LLC. Prior to Dubai, sir has worked 6 years in Mumbai in India with Century Textile and Industry Limited, BK Birla Group, and Viraj Group of Companies. So with this small introduction, we would like to welcome you, sir, and would like to request you to address all the attendees for as an environment in Dubai for a job perspective and as a practice perspective. So over to you, sir.
Thank you very much, Virat, for giving me an opportunity to address our friends and fellow members. Really, very good evening to all of you guys. And I was thinking, I was given the topic about the opportunities for finance professionals in the UAE. So I was thinking where to start. Then I thought, in the Google, there is ocean of information which is available. So rather, let me share my experience as a chartered accountant. When I came to Dubai in 2002, I worked in Mumbai actually 6 years with BK Birla Group and few other companies. And after coming to Dubai in 2002, I started my career here. I was working, as you mentioned, that Al Butain, Philip Morris, Dubai World Trade Center. I worked for about 18 years in Dubai in various capacities in accounting and finance department. And then I thought, why not to start some venture? And I started actually two restaurants, Marwari restaurant and Sagaratna restaurant, vegetarian restaurants. And thereafter, I was again thinking, because I was always having entrepreneurial mind, and I thought, why not I mean to try something else. And I was always associated with our chapter as a member and as an executive committee member in the year 2010 with the ICAI Dubai chapter. Then in 2014, actually, I started RNG Auditors. RNG Auditors is into tax practice and audit, both apart from, setting up the companies, and we do due diligence, valuation. We are doing many services for our clients. And recently, because my wife, she was sitting at home and my kids have gone for further studies in Europe and US. So I thought, why not to start something for my wife as well? And now real estate market is picking up in Dubai. So she told me that let's start the real estate brokerage firm. So recently we have started the real estate brokerage firm 2 months back. So in nutshell, why I'm sharing my experience, see, we are Indian chartered accountants. We can do anything, whatever we want, whatever field we want to go. So the whole world is open for us. And in UAE, there are a lot of opportunities. Dubai is a dream city, and you can achieve whatever you want to achieve. Can you see me or no? Virat?
Yes, sir.
I am visible.
No, no, you are not visible, sir.
Let me see now.
Yes, sir.
Okay, there is some technical problem. Is it visible now?
No, sir, no. Cam is there, but the space is there, but the cam is off, sir, I think.
Okay. Let me share my webcam again. I think there is some problem happening first.
Yeah, perfect. Please continue.
Okay, so anyway, now you guys are going. There are experts who are going to talk on corporate tax. But as you guys are aware, that VAT was implemented in the year 2018, then Economic Substance Regulation in the year 2019. After that, UBO in the year 2020, then Anti-Money Laundering Law that came in the year 2021. Then UAE Companies Law and UAE Family Companies Law was introduced in the in future. So there will be a lot of opportunities for every single finance professional, whoever is coming to Dubai. And as you guys are aware, that corporate tax law is going to be implemented on 1st of June 2023. So corporate tax and transfer pricing, there is a great opportunity in this area, because we are staying here in Dubai for the last 20 years and we have not been exposed to corporate tax and transfer pricing. So there is a great opportunity for all Indian chartered accountants in the tax stream for sure. Now I would like to share my one of the presentation, if I can.
Yes, sir. You can show your screen, sir.
Yeah. Okay. I have to select the screen now, right? Okay. Yes. Is it visible, sir?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. So UAE, I just want to give the brief about UAE information. I mean, like UAE has got 7 emirates. Abu Dhabi is the capital of the UAE, and Dubai, as you guys are aware, that is the popular tourist destination in the UAE. And other 5 emirates, you would have heard the names: Sharjah, Ras Al Khaimah, Ajman, Fujairah, and Umm Quwain. And UAE economy is the second largest economy in Arab world after Saudi Arabia. and their GDP is approximately 415 billion US dollar. And tourism is one of the biggest opportunity actually, or non-oil revenue in the UAE nowadays. And Dubai is one of the proud host of Expo 2020 recently. Now there are a lot of new things coming up in 2023 in UAE. Corporate tax is one of the opportunity for all of us. Then there are a lot many things which are coming up, driverless taxis, and then on the climate there are a lot many things happening. So COP28, this is one of the biggest exhibition which is going to happen in the November, December this year. And then Emiratization has happened in UAE and they have made it mandatory. So 4% of the total skilled workforce has to be Emirati. And then world's tallest hotel is also coming up. Then Mission Ferrari. So there is like Ferrari, you guys would have gone to Abu Dhabi, and in Yas Island and Ferrari World, they are coming up with one of the fastest sideways actually Ferrari kind of drive. Then new note is coming up, 1,000 dirham currency note is coming up. Then world's largest aquarium is coming up in Abu Dhabi. Then largest snow park is also coming up in Abu Dhabi, and many more like D33, Dubai 33 agenda actually, which are set up recently by Sheikh Mohammed. And in the next decade, actually in 1 decade, they are going to achieve around 100 transformative projects, and they are achieving going to achieve $32 trillion worth of projects in the next 10 years. Then they are thinking of 20-minute city concept by 2040. So they want to have, like, from your home, you can reach anywhere in Dubai, whatever your daily needs or your office or whatever your necessities are there, you can reach in 20 minutes in Dubai anywhere. Then they have the target to achieve the net zero carbon emission by 2050. So Dubai and UAE, they are doing a lot of things. Now I would like to discuss something about the ICAI, strength of ICAI members in the GCC. In UAE, we have got more than 5,000 members. At ICAI Dubai chapter, we have got around 3,200 chartered accountants as our members. And then Saudi Arabia, Oman, Bahrain, Qatar, and Kuwait, there are more than 1,000 chartered accountants in each of the country. And now key UAE sectors, are oil. Definitely oil is one of them, and then the real estate, construction. Then tourism is events and tourism is happening in Dubai. There are a lot many things happening in this space. Then now you can have a look at top 10 accounting firms in the Middle East, like networks. Big four are there. Then BDO, Baker Tilly, Grant, Thornton, Crow. Then association. There are few associations which you can see which are there. And these are the source is the International Accounting Bulletin, World Survey 2022. I have taken from there only. I'm going a bit faster because I have only 15-20 minutes to go through. But I will share this presentation with the organizer Virag, and he can share with you as well. Now there are 5 top accounting qualifications through which you can boost your career. Like here, CA from ICAI, we guys are there. Then CMA, then ACCA from UK, then CIMA from UK, and MBAs. And then see, at the end of the day, you have to decide where you want to go. My suggestion is, once you decide that you want to go in the industry, or you want to go in your professional practice or banking, education, whichever field you want to go, select the field and then become the master of it. Otherwise, if you are changing your field, your industry, then it will be very difficult to master, and nowadays everybody is millennials. They are always trying to master one bit. So look at, whatever you want to adopt and then enter. When you enter, then that time itself you have to decide which field you want to enter and then stick to it. And then again in the industry or banking or whatever you select, or as an entrepreneur or practice as well. Now professional practice in UAE, they have come up with a new law whereby you can own the audit firms 100%. Subject to one of the exam we have to pass here in order to get UAE CA accreditation. Once you achieve that and you have 3 or 5 years of auditor's experience in Dubai, then you can start your own audit practice without involvement of any local Emirati partner, which is one of the welcome initiative in the UAE recently. Then once you select that, okay, you want to go in whether in an industry or practice or entrepreneurship, you have to select then again one of the field, whether you want to go in audit, risk advisory services, or KPO or transaction advisory services, or tax advisory services. Tax is one of the actually booming field, and there are a lot of opportunities. So you can capitalize on tax. I mean, now corporate tax has come, VAT is already there, and then anti-money laundering, now there is a lot of requirements, and there is an acute shortage actually. Today only I was reading the newspaper, and they mentioned that there is an acute shortage of skilled workers, skilled staff in the UAE. So you can always grab this opportunity, and now ICAI India is going to have this placement interview. That is another great opportunity. You can always use these kind of opportunities. Then there are, I mean, few ways which I put it here. You can always look for the jobs in UAE. I mean, referral by friends is the one of the best actually medium. Most of the multinationals and big conglomerates, they always rely on referrals. So if you have any friends, you can always approach them. Then classifieds is another one, like in the newspaper, Khalij Times, Gulf News, there is classified. You can also go online and look at it. There are always a lot of opportunities in classifieds as well. Then there are a lot of recruitment agencies in UAE as well as in India, Mumbai. I mean, there are a lot many agencies. They are recruiting directly from Mumbai for UAE, so you can always approach them. Then there are few websites of government and private job portals are there. In the next slide, I have put it there for your benefit, and from this presentation you can pick it up. Then nowadays, networking website, LinkedIn is one of the professional network which you can use. And I found that most of the MNCs and big family conglomerates, they are always recruiting from this LinkedIn website. So try to increase your network and try to connect with the CFOs, CEOs in the country. And then, I mean, you can exchange your CVs, but always you have to ensure that whenever you are applying for any job vacancy, you have to look at your qualification and the experience in the field and what job description is there. You have to always match. I mean, don't send your CV for every job vacancy, whichever is coming, you just send it. It is not going to help, rather it will spoil your opportunity. Then these are the few government websites. I put it up here. This presentation will be shared with you by the organizer Virat. And then there are few private portals also I have shared. Michael Page. See, Michael Page is there, BAT, Naukri Gulf, Indeed, Cubizal, e-Financial Carriers, Robert Half. I've used myself, Michael Page and Robert Half and e-Financial Carrier, and I was always able to get an opportunity. And even through LinkedIn, I got an opportunity for Yahoo as well. One time I remember. So it all works. I mean, the only thing you need to have perseverance and you need to make your efforts continuously, then it will definitely work. And now I can discuss with you few, sorry, let me go to the next. Yeah, these are the few salary levels in UAE for finance jobs. I mean, compliance officer, as I mentioned you that AML, and in banking industry, there are a lot many opportunities for the experienced compliance officers, and the average salary is generally 200,000 dirham per annum. Then for financial controller, it is 300,000. Finance manager 180,000, accountant 60,000, financial analyst 120,000, and for CFOs 500,000. These are the average salaries. Again, it depends on your experience. I mean, what kind of experience you possess, then definitely you can get better salary than this or maybe less than this. But these are the indicative numbers, I mean, which I have seen during the year, during like 20 years of my career in UAE. And about the skills, I mean, we chartered accountant have got solid skills, solid experience, no doubt about it. And so I have put it here as star, 5-star. You can have a look at it. But communication skill is one of the most important skill. And communication skill, it doesn't mean that you have to communicate one way only. You need to have listening skill as well. So it has to be two-way communication. And then, yes, nowadays technology is very important. You can see that big data analytics, financial modeling, and you can get some experience on ERP like SAP, Oracle. These are the very famous ERPs in UAE, which are already implemented in most of the companies here. So you can get certification in ERP and Oracle Financial before coming here. So you have an edge always compared to the local talent, because there are very few people who are experienced in ERP implementation and ERP usage. Myself, even I have got certification from SAP AG Germany on SAP R3 Finance and Controlling module. So you can always get some sort of certification in order to have edge over other candidates. Then leadership abilities. I mean, these are the few soft skills which you need to be aware of. And in the past, actually, Gartner has predicted that there will be 1.8 million jobs which will be disappeared. But definitely, it will help further to create 2.3 million jobs, new jobs. And this will happen because of the artificial intelligence and bot, and lot many things are happening. But there are always an opportunity. So we have to adopt the latest technology. Then we will be definitely getting success anywhere. Then always nowadays, finance professionals, not only CFOs, I mean, every finance professional is supposed to be responsible not for the finance. He has to be responsible outside of finance. He has to look at the business. He has to control the budgets, controlling forecasts, and he has to have the full control over every single purchase order which is getting released for any sort of expenditure, whether it is inventory or non-inventory. So now the control aspect has come. As a business, nowadays, people are hiring as finance business partner, not as financial controller or finance manager. Now the situation has changed, so you have to have more business acumen. You should know more business operation, and you should be discussing with the business managers, and you need to devote the time with them and help them in order to succeed in the business on day-to-day basis, rather than just focusing on accounting, because accounting reporting, it has become all automated. You know, in ERP, you click a button and everything is coming out. So you need to always work outside the finance and try to get as much knowledge as you can get in the business. So what should we do? I mean, you need to change your mindset always. When you are always think about the control. I mean, internal control, whatever way you can always. You have to be careful, and then connect and enable. You have to connect with the entire company, not just in the accounting department. You have to discuss with everyone. You have to meet everyone, and always try new things and be willing to fail. If you are doing what you have been doing in the past for all these years, it is not going to help. If you want to climb the ladder, then definitely you have to think outside the box and always come up with some sort of new projects or new something new. You have to always come up. I mean, routine things are okay, but new projects have to be undertaken in order to have an edge. And in this process, you will definitely learn new things. And once you are doing something which you are not supposed to do, then only you will be going up the ladder. Otherwise, if you are doing the same thing which you have been doing, then you will be there only, and you cannot grow. So always try new things. And as I mentioned earlier as well, in terms of the communication, always you have to, I mean, speaking is one thing definitely, but you have to listen and learn. That is what I have to say. And this is my email ID. You guys can note down. I'm available anytime. I mean, if you want any sort of help or direction in order to succeed in UAE market, I'm available. And Virag, I think I am done now.
Yeah, thank you so much, sir, for the wonderful presentation. You have covered so many things in very limited time. We are very thankful to you, sir. A wonderful presentation. You have given all the details. What are the coming things in UAE? Where is the opportunity for practicing for job and how to get the job? by way of LinkedIn, by way of reference. Referral will really work in a UAE country like UAE. So we are very thankful to you, sir, for so many things in very limited time. So
yeah, I went very fast in order to cover a lot of things in short time. So I hope I justified my presence, and
absolutely.
members will get benefit out of this. Thank you very
Yes.
much.
Thank you so much, sir. And it's really our privilege to have you here, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, Virat. Thank you, sir.
So now it's time to introduce our first speaker, Pratik Shah. His rich experience. He's a founder of TMSL, Tax Technology Management Consultant Company. Sir has a rich experience of 20 plus years of specialization in the field of taxes globally. There is an expert in the field of indirect taxes. Has also worked on complex risk management and process consulting projects from automation and tax technology perspective for various large family-owned groups in GCC, multinational corporate and other large clients. The work's experience include handling of diverse projects related to VAT and GST policy and procedure, handling litigation in GCC, obtaining clarification from tax authority, VAT diagnostic reviews, tax efficient transaction structuring, and training are key expertise possessed by Pratik sir. Sir is actively involved in setting of India Tax Compliance Center as Center of Excellence, representation to Ministry of Finance, and also represented before Tax Authority for identifying issue of trade and industry from GCC VAT and India GST perspective. Sir has also contributed to doing business guide India chapter as published by World Bank. Sir is a regular speaker at ICAI Dubai chapter, ICAI Abu Dhabi chapter, Indo-German Chamber of Commerce, Swiss Business Hub, CII, FICCI, and many others. Sir has also contributed various thought leadership articles for awareness of trade and industry at large. So with this brief introduction, we welcome Pratik sir and would like to request to take the proceeding guide for our today's session. Over to you, sir.
Thank you so much, Virat. Thank you so much for the kind words of introduction. So, I think I can very clearly relate to today's webinar or the event which is happening, because if I go back to, let's say, 2017, I mean, as a tax professional, as a chartered accountant from India, I have spent about, let's say, 2 decades working only in indirect tax field, and somewhere in 2017, it was a landmark event as far as India is concerned, when India moved from a routine erstwhile indirect tax system to the current GST scenario. And everybody was saying that, okay, this is the big opportunity, this is the big opportunity for indirect tax professionals, and the world will come to look at this opportunity. But that was the time when I actually decided to shift the base from India and come to UAE. It was a big decision or a kind of a calculated risk, because we were seeing that UAE is going to the next destination for few or many years forward, wherein there will be plethora of tax changes that will come up, and it will usher a lot of opportunities for Indian chartered accountants. And as a result of that, when I see this kind of a webinar today, I can really relate to it, which effectively it means that there is really also no opportunities over here. Now, what happens technically is effectively when we think of a Middle East, or when we think of let's say UAE as the destination, the first thing that comes to our mind is that it's a tax-free country. And from that tax-free country, we want to give you a bit of a perspective about what is happening over here and how we as an Indian chartered accountant or as a tax professionals can mark our presence in the region. So just as a brief background, I represent an organization called TMSL, which stands for T for tax technology, M for managed services or compliance services, S for tax structuring, and L for litigation. As you can see, we have a presence in Mumbai, Pune, Ahmedabad, and Dubai, and various other locations in India as well. and our core focus is working in and around anything and everything as far as it relates to the taxation aspects. And the firm has been founded by two young chartered accountants with a background of Big Four and working in the organizations. And the various awards and accolades that we have been honored with speaks about the opportunities for budding chartered accountants and tax professionals as far as you are planning to work dedicated in the field of taxation. So what happened as a journey, as I said, we were studying globally as we are a part of the World Bank doing business in India guide taxation chapter. We realized that world over there is a change which is happening in a particular pattern, wherein different jurisdictions, different continents are implementing revised taxation models, and it is not far that the Middle East market will soon also implement the plethora of taxes, and that can be seen over here as well. While the VAT or the GST was first introduced in the country France, which was way back in 1954, since then, if we see, as of today, there are more than 160 countries that has implemented VAT or GST in the current form that we are seeing. But what is important to note is, if you can see over GCC over here, Virat, somehow my screen sharing has stopped, if I'm not wrong. Is that, are you
No, it's going on, sir. Screen
going
is
on?
visible to all.
Okay, because I can't see the screen, sorry.
It may be at backside, but it's visible to all, sir.
Okay, so as we can see that uh, the tax rates that we can see is about 5% to 15% of indirect tax. Like when we talk about GST in India, where the tax rates are different. As far as GCC is concerned, the tax rate or the indirect tax rate is about 5%, and in Saudi Arabia it is about 15%. So we are seeing one of the lowest VAT rate or the GST rate as far as the global is concerned. Apart from that, we are seeing that there are other countries in GCC that are also planning to implement the VAT. So while Oman has already implemented, Kuwait and Qatar is going to implement it in a near future. And that's where the fact remains is the opportunities in the Middle East is enormous as far as the tax professionals are concerned. And if I have to focus specifically as far as GCC tax framework, we have in mind that okay, there is no tax as far as GCC is concerned. But if I have to talk about, there exists value-added tax, there is excise duty applicability, there is a customs duty, there exists applicability of corporate tax, stamp duty, withholding tax, zakat. So that way there are multiple taxes which are already there and applicable as far as GCC market is concerned. And with that in place, one can see that the opportunities, even if one can master or specialize in any one or two tax regime, this is something sufficient for you to build your career as far as the region is concerned. And as we can see that apart from these routine taxes, there are other taxes like tourism dirham tax and other routine taxes that are applicable. And at times the rate of taxes are as high as 50% or 100%, as we can see in case of excise duty. So it's that if the tax rate is about as high as 50 to 100%, that the planning, structuring, and effectively helping the client from a correct compliance perspective assumes a significant importance. And that is the reason why we believe that the chartered accountants and the tax professionals will have a far better future as far as UAE market is concerned. Now, what happens is, as they say, I mean, typically, because my co-panelist and the co-speaker Ankur is a very good cricket player, we generally say that once the T20 has come, people forget one days in the test match. Something similar is happening with the introduction or the announcement of introduction of corporate tax. People started forgetting about the erstwhile existing taxes like VAT. And we are thankful to Virat that he has been giving us an opportunity to share that while corporate tax is yet to come, even as of today, VAT has opened enormous opportunities to the tax professionals over here. And if we see the recent changes as far as VAT is concerned, I can bifurcate the overall changes into three broad buckets. So there are legislative related changes, the portal or the government interface or the website itself has undergone a substantial change, and there are various clarifications and guides or the notification that has been issued by the government. So it is something similar to what we have always experienced as far as India is concerned. that once the legislation is announced, it is not that it is done and dusted. Thereafter, we can regularly see that there are notifications which will be issued by the authorities. There will be clarifications which will be issued by the tax department. They keep on modifying and updating the user interface in the portal through which you can communicate with the tax authority or your submissions. Everything is a constant process of change, and as a result of that, the tax professionals will be on their toes constantly to ensure that they are fully updated about various changes that they need to take care as far as the UAE VAT is concerned. So broadly, while there are three different types of changes, uh, uh, as of now, I am going to focus on bucket number two, which is the changes with respect to the portal or the website. The first change, which is the legislative change, is going to be covered by my co-panelist Ankur. So I will leave the floor for him in some time. But as far as broadly, if I have to talk about the changes from a legislation perspective, the changes, again something similar like to India. Some changes will be effective from January 2023 onwards. Some changes will be effective March 2023 onwards. There are changes with respect to filing revised returns. The period of limitation has been changed from earlier 5 years. Now they have modified the provisions to say that it can be further extended if you are being served audit notice on the last year. It can further reopen for another 4 years. The tax audit notice, typically when you are served the audit notice in UAE, you are being given only 5 days to prepare and submit your response. Now they are changing the days time from 5 days to 10-day time period. Obviously, there is the way we have a tax litigation hierarchy in India, wherein you have the initial assessing officer, then the commissioner, then the tribunal, the High Court, Supreme Court. Something similar is also being introduced over here. So now we have one more layer of tax dispute, which is at the department level. Then there is a tax dispute resolution committee, which is like a tribunal. Then there is a federal court, and that way there is also a series of litigation that one can expect over here, which can be verified. And why the people will go more and more into litigation is because the penalty quantum is fairly high. So typically in India, we would have seen the penalties at 20%, 25%, 50%, 100%. Here the penalties can be as high as 200%, 300%. In some of the countries, it is 500%. So because the penal exposures are so high, the authorities are so stringent about enforcing the law, the responsibility or the role of a tax professional becomes fairly critical. Having said that, there are various legislative changes, as I said, that will be covered by Ankur. But from a tax portal perspective, typically from 2017, around September, the authority has started interacting with the taxpayers via their existing erstwhile portal when the excise law was introduced. From 2017 to December 2022, the same portal continued. However, from 5th of December 2022, the entire new avatar or a tax portal 2.0 was launched by the tax authority in UAE. And when we look at that particular portal, we can see that mainly there are 4 changes that they have done on the portal. So right from how do you log in on the portal, what are the ways in which you can log in, as Hari sir was talking about a lot of digitization. Here also they have given multiple options to log into the portal, and not only the normal typical user ID password is the only option available. There are various ways in which you can log into the portal, and once you log in, there are changes that has happened as far as VAT registration is concerned. Wherein if I have to go back into the key details, that you need to start uploading the details about your branches which you need to register. As an owner, now you need to upload your shareholding percentage when you go for the registration details. Emirates ID, which is like an Aadhaar card in India, has now become optional as far as the registration is concerned for the authorized signatory. Bank detail has been made optional as far as registration is concerned. So there are various options wherein the new portal is becoming more and more user friendly. It allows more than one authorized signatory to be registered with the tax authorities. So the way there are changes as far as registration is concerned. Similarly, when you need to go for a return filing also, there are multiple changes that has been suggested by the tax authorities. So as a tax professional, we got to be extra careful when how you manage the compliances of a client. So for example, we are working for many clients over here for their routine day-to-day compliances. And as Hari sir or as Virag was suggesting as a part of my introduction, that I have also set up a delivery center or a back end of kind of office in India, wherein the team can work from India and work on the UAE-based compliances, and on a need basis travel to UAE, which gives you the flexibility of being close to your home at the same time getting a global exposure. When such kind of a people are working from backend, you need to be completely aware about the compliance processes, how you to file return and what are the options to be done. So from that angle also, if you see, the portal has been modified substantially, and from that portal, yes, you can file your returns and get a complete dashboard available. It can show you which returns are overdue, which is currently under the timeline, which is in red color, which is in green color. The overdue returns are having penal implications. All those options are identified. Also, it allows you to compare your past return and the earlier returns that you have filed, so that you can identify what was the return submitted earlier, what are the changes which are taking place now. Apart from that, also there is a concept of filing the refund claim with the tax authority over here, and we can say that this refund will be also available, and there are changes made on the portal from a VAT refund perspective as well. So again, on the refund perspective, you can file more than one refund claim, and you can get into the other aspects as far as VAT refund is concerned. So in nutshell, if I have to talk about the changes, be it your registration, be it your returns, be it your refund, or even making the payment through online portal, everything has changed. The way you make an online payment, there are new digitized options that has been introduced by the government authorities to make it more user friendly as far as filing refund payment is concerned. And there are ways in which you can make the payment. There is a unique ID which will be generated to make the payment to avoid any cyber frauds, and also it is becoming more and more tax user friendly. These are the major changes that has been introduced from a payment of taxes perspective, wherein you can pay it by using credit cards, or you can use it via net banking facilities or other permanent. You have an installment payment facilities available from the tax department, which is again unique. But these are the changes which has been of lately introduced by the tax authorities over here. So broadly, if I have to summarize, whether it is registration related, returns related, refund related, filing a revised return, what they call it in UAE as a voluntary disclosure, or even a making payment on a regular basis, each of these aspects, which becomes the core backbone of any tax professional or any chartered accountant, has been modified from time to time, and that's where we believe that the opportunities for the tax professionals or the chartered accountants is enormous. Whether you are operating from India and focusing on GCC market like us, or whether you are physically based in UAE, both the options are possible, where you can leverage on the overall activities available. So similar to that, the way we receive notifications, guides, circulars as far as India is concerned. Similarly, here also you can see there are various public clarifications, notifications, and the public guides which are issued by the authority, and that would also act as a referring point or a reference point for you to take any tax positions for your clients. So that's how it's exactly similar to how the taxation function works or taxation system works in any other global jurisdiction. That you have an existing law, then there are court cases which is there, then there are clarifications which are issued, the act and rules are being modified, the portal of the government authority is getting modified. So it's a continuous evolving process, and as we see, this is just the beginning of a taxation regime as far as UAE is concerned. They have just seen 4 to 5 years. If I talk about India, the income tax is there from 1960s. The indirect taxes are there even prior to that. So from that perspective, it is 60 years in India, and we are still seeing that the law is not settled. So then in GCC, it is just 5 years, it is just 6 years of taxation that we have seen. And you can imagine the roadmap that we have in front of us as aspiring career in UAE region is concerned. So with that, so these are the various guides that has been recently updated. So you can imagine that there are already 56 guides which are available in public domain that has been modified. Then there are 28 procedural guides which has been modified. So there are about 80-90 guides which are being updated on a regular basis. So it means that we have to constantly keep updating ourselves from a taxation perspective, and that's where the role of a professional chartered accountant or a UAE chartered accountant or an Indian chartered accountant becomes extremely critical for all of us, and that's where we believe that UAE definitely serves as an ocean of opportunity for all of us to focus our career in near future. With that, I would like to end my presentation over here, And the legislative related changes, I can ask Ankur to take that up forward from there. Thank you, Virat.
Thank you, Pratik sir. We'll come back to you for panel discussion and Q&A kind of thing. So before that, we have Ankur Jain sir, who is sharing the recent amendment. So before that, would like to introduce sir. Sir is a senior director indirect taxes at MMJS Consulting UAE. Sir is a great experience. Sir is a industry expertise at trading in free zones, retail manufacturing, logistics and services, healthcare and education, real estate. Sir is a member of Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, member of Institute of Company Secretary of India, also Bachelor of Commerce Honors Accounting in India. Sir is a VAT and GST expertise at UAE, KSA, Bahrain, Oman, Malaysia, and India as well. As a professional background, sir function at MMJS is the senior director MMJS and leads the indirect tax practice in the UAE. Sir is a VAT or GST implementation expert and indirect tax senior professional with over 14 plus years of experience of multiple jurisdiction. Sir is appointed as the regional director Middle East, has also been recognized as highly regarded indirect tax in UAE by ITR World Tax, the world's leading tax and accounting practice directory in 2022. Sir was also ranked as a rising star indirect tax in UAE by ITR World Tax in 2021. Sir has a professional experience, has led VAT and GST project for number of clients, including government entities and large family groups, free zones, local and multinational entities and cumulates across GCC, Southeast Asia and India as well. There is an external experience. Prior to joining MMJS, has worked for 10 plus years in KPMG, Lower Gulf, UAE, Deloitte, Malaysia, and Deloitte, India as well. There is an experience of GST implementation in Malaysia and India for various industry as well. Sir has also conducted various seminars on VAT and regular speaker, providing insight on VAT at various client forum and event in the UAE, KSA, Oman, Bahrain, India, and Malaysia. There is great experience, GST experience in Malaysia, VAT experience in India, and also implementation experience in associated in UAE, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, Kingdom of Bahrain, and Salute of Oman, and also associated with various clients with GST implementation in Malaysia and India. So with this brief introduction, we welcome you, sir, and thank you so much for accepting our invitation, and would like to request you to take the proceeding ahead for our today's session. Over to you, sir.
Yeah, thank you so much, Viraj. Thank you for that, very detailed introduction. Today, before I start, I also would like to thank Hari sir and Pratik, for such a wonderful session where they have given an update in terms of what is, what are these opportunities for, for Indian Chartered Accountants and businesses in UAE and GCC in particular. Before I start, actually, I just wanted to share my journey also, because it's very, very important that, when I came here in 2016, again, a chartered accountant from India, it's very, very important to understand, how the region operate. And definitely Hari sir has given a very good perspective that what are the things which needs to be understand, what are the laws in the country and how you can, prepare yourself before coming. Because if you prepare yourself, the chances of you succeeding in this region is very much. With this, I'll just start my presentation. As Pratik said, that I'll be covering more of the changes, the recent changes which has happened under the UAE VAT law and tax procedure law. Before that, I'll just wanted to share a quote of Benjamin Franklin. Once he said that in this world, nothing can be said to be certain except death and taxes. So, taxes is something, as the great thinkers have also said, that it keeps on changing, and the same way we are seeing in GCC. So I'll take you through, the recent changes which has happened, and what could be the implication of those changes. My screens are visible.
Yes,
Viraj?
sir.
1 minute.
Visible, sir.
Great. So, as I said that, recent amendments to the VAT law and tax procedure law. Before that, just very quickly update about, my firm. I work with MMJS Consulting. It's a tax niche firm which started in 2017, and we operate all along GCC. We are close to, now 100 employees. We operate in all those countries. UAE, Kingdom of Bahrain, Sultanate of Oman, Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, and India. We have a sort of a back office in India as well. We are part of Preston Menel, and we have been ranked, as per the ranking of International Accounting Body, second in the UAE. Our journey, as I said, we started in 2017 with one employee, now with and one office in UAE. Now we have around offices all along in the GCC, primarily providing tax services, and our team strength has reached to 95 plus. We have also got international recognition recently, and we have been rated into the Middle East Tax Firm of the Year, Middle East Transfer Pricing Firm of the Year, and Best Newcomer Firm of the Year. As we were in the we were rated as the finalist, and also by the World Tax as well. In terms of how we can help our clients, as I said that some of the things which is important for us is we have the practical experience of solving clients issues. We have tax agency license as well, and in addition to that, we have presence all along in the GCC, and we have a team which is expert in taxation. So now I start in terms of the amendments which are there under the UAE VAT law. Just a summary, which is very, very important for everybody to understand. So, and again, the normal thinking about taxation in GCC, or particularly in the UAE, that first that they are very easy, and second it does not change. The answer to that is it's not right. There has been a lot of amendments which has happened, particularly under the VAT law and the executive regulation. So just a snapshot of this: the VAT law has been amended recently, and the changes would be effective from 1st of January 23. The executive regulation of the VAT regulation of the VAT law has been amended 5 times. There has been change under the tax procedure law also. A new tax procedure law would be introduced from 1st of March 23, and there has been change under excise law as well in the UAE. So talking about the UAE amendments, those amendment would be effective from, are already effective from 1st of January 23. 25 articles per se have been amended. The key amendment are under the provisions of statute of limitation, date of supply, place of supply provisions, and there are other amendment in relation to reverse charge mechanism and also input tax credit availability. So the biggest change what has happened is in relation to the change in the statute of limitation. So previously, what used to happen is there was provision regarding the statute of limitation which says that the authorities have power to do audit or assessment within 5 years from the tax period. So to say an example, that if your tax period is January 2018, then the federal tax authorities have power to conduct your assessment by January 2023. That was the power. But now with the recent amendment, what they have done is that they have given power to the authorities that if they give a notice, then this period of limitation can be increased from 5 years plus 4 more years, which means they will have power up till 9 years to conduct an audit or assessment, which you may have, majority of you are from India, and you may have seen these type of audit in India also being given. So these type of this provision has been added, which means that the period of limitation will increase from 5 years to 9 years, provided a notice is served. The other important change what this amendment has done is that voluntary disclosure, which is similar to a revision of return, cannot be filed after 5 years after 5 years. So which means that, again, taking back to the same old example, January 2018 tax period or tax return, you can only file a voluntary disclosure, or you can only revise those return by January 23. After that, the return would not be, you will not have power, the businesses will not have power to revise that return or file a voluntary disclosure. What is the practical aspect of that? So practical aspect is that it might happen that the authority may give you notice to increase your time period from 5 years to 9 years. But as a business, though the authority will have a power to audit you after 5th year also, they have power to audit you till 9 year, but you as a business will not be able to file any voluntary disclosure or file revision of return after 5th year, which means that any proceeding which happened after the 5th year, the penalties would be audit penalties, and audit penalties are much higher than the voluntary disclosure penalty. Just a comparison, voluntary disclosure penalty maximum goes up to 40%, while audit penalty may go up to 200%. So that is the change which is there. The other change which they have done is that if you do a VD in the 5th year, so again going by the same example which I am giving, that if a VD has been filed in for a January 2018 tax period in January 23, it automatically gives power to the authority to increase the period of limitation to 5th year, to 1 more year, which means that the authority have power to conduct your assessment or audit by 1 more year. So by if you file a VD in January 23, the authority have power to complete your audit or inspection by January 24. So this is one of the biggest change which the authorities have done. The other changes are, if you track the UAE VAT law, there was time limit to issue a tax invoice within 14 days from the date of supply. So the similar sort of provision has been now added under the credit note, like output tax adjustment also. So if you are issuing a credit note, because you are making an output tax adjustment, there are certain conditions, and there are certain conditions like you have a sales return, there is a sales cancellation, there is adjustment to the consideration. If that event is triggered, then it is compulsory for you to issue the credit note within 14 days. Earlier there was no such time limit. Now this time limit has been introduced. Similarly, under Article 61, which is in relation to the instances where credit notes can be or output tax adjustment can be done, there is one more instance which has been introduced, which is tax which was erroneously charged. So in case you have charged a tax erroneously, a transaction which was say taxable, you consider this as an exempt, you identify that by after some time, then you can now issue a tax credit note and make those adjustments. Going forward, under Article 21, tax deregistration cases, there has been certain changes where power have been given to the FTA, to the Federal Tax Authority, to deregister any taxable person to protect the integrity of the system, which means that in case they think that somebody has taken registration just for the purpose to evade the taxes or do some illegal means, then the authority has power to deregister themselves. And even they have said that in case the authorities have given deregistration to somebody and they after some time they identify that there was some leakage of tax, they still can apply penalties on them. The next is Article 15 changes, where the authorities now there has been change in relation to the registration exception. So in case a business which is only doing in zero rated supply, they may apply for an exception for registration, and if authority thinks that they are fulfilling the condition, then the registration exception can be given. The next change has been done under Article 36, which is in relation to value of supply and deemed supply in relation to related parties. Just to give you a background that the valuation of supply in case of deemed supply as per the UAE VAT law was you need to identify the cost. Deemed supply is similar provision which is there in India, that in case there is any transaction where the consideration is not there or supply is being done for free, then in that scenario you need to value that supply as the cost at the cost price. Here what they have done is that in case there is a transaction between related party and there are certain conditions like that the transaction is lower than the market value and the recipient of the supply is not able to claim full input tax credit, then in that scenario the valuation of supply would not be cost price, it would be market value. So this will typically impact the transaction between the related party, where earlier the related party used to pay VAT on deemed supply on cost, now they have to do on market value. Again, Article 45 changes have been done. So this Article 45 covers situation which is in relation to zero rating. There are a lot of transactions under UAE VAT law. There are certain transactions under UAE VAT law where zero rating is provided, like supply, like air and land, sea means of transportation, international transport of goods and services, aircraft and vessel design and services, supply of crude oil and natural gases. So here what they have done is it's a more of change in the provision, just to make it very clear that in all those scenarios, the services along with the goods associated with these would also be treated as zero rated, which anyways the interpretation was the same, but they have made it very clear by making the amendment. The other amendment is under Article 55, which is recovery of input tax credit. It is a very important amendment. So under UAE VAT law, input tax credit can only be availed if you are in possession of a tax invoice and you have either made the payment, or there is an intention to make payment, or you will make payment within 6 months from the agreed date of payment. Then only the input credit can be availed. In relation to import of goods, import of services, it was reverse charge, but now they have put the condition that in case of import of services, you can do a reverse charge, but it is necessary that when you are doing a reverse charge, you should have an invoice from the foreign supplier. So that condition earlier was not there, now it has been mandatory. Similarly, in case of import of goods, which is again a reverse charge, and it gets auto-populated under box number 6 column. So here also they are making mandatory that at the time when you are doing a reverse charge, it is required that the import documents of the imported goods should be in the possession of the business. So here there is a practical difficulty because typically the import documents are with the freight forwarder. So you need to make a process change and ensure that for both import of goods and import of services, when you are doing reverse charge, you should be in possession of the invoice for import of services, and in case of import of goods, you should have an import document in your possession. Even an e-bill in relation to that should be sufficient, but this has to be done. Now I move to the very quickly move to the amendment to the executive regulations of the UAE VAT law. Again, these amendment would be effective from 1st of January 23. Basically, 2 articles have been amended. Briefly, Pratik also touched upon that, but I'll just cover this again. They have made an amendment to the supply of services section. So basically, what they have done is that director services, which were typically being covered under the supplier services definition, has now been taken out from the definition of supplier services. So what they are saying is that if any natural person who is providing director services or is getting sitting fees while he's sitting on the board of any government entity or a private entity, then effective 1st of January 2023, that would not be considered as supply of services, which means that VAT would not be applicable on director fees or the board fees, any revenue which a director who is getting from any government or private entity, effective 1st of January 23. Similarly, there has been certain change under Article 72, which is in relation to record keeping, where what they have done is that for e-commerce companies, the reporting for record keeping like emirate wise reporting is required under UAE, that wherever your place of establishment is there, that under that column you have to report your supply. So in case of e-commerce company, what they have done is they have now changed it from reporting from your fixed place of establishment to the customer's place of establishment. So wherever your customer are located in that emirate, you have to report your supply. Now moving to the last part of today's session, which is amendment to the tax procedure law. These amendment to the tax procedure law would be effective from 1st of March 23, and it is governed by the tax procedure law. The key amendment are there that effective 1st of March 23, there would be a requirement to file voluntary disclosure, even though the errors and omission have no tax impact. Earlier under the UAE laws, voluntary disclosure were only required to be filed in case there is underpayment of taxes of more than 10,000, or there are under calculation or over calculation on refund. In case there is no tax implications or tax implications were lower than 10,000, then VD were not required to be filed. However, this provision has been changed, and effective 1st March for any change, even though there is no tax due, like some examples can be error in reporting your zero rated supply or error in reporting reverse charge mechanism. Now all those changes has to be done by filing a voluntary disclosure. The other changes what they have done is the time limit for providing the notice for audit and assessment have been increased from 5 days to 10 days. So more time would be given to business in order to provide reply to the authorities. There has been a ceiling on the penalties. Earlier, the ceiling on the maximum penalty the authorities can put was 3 times. Now that has been reduced to 2 times. So 200%. Earlier it was 300%. Similarly, they have changed the process under the tax dispute where one more layer has come. So now in case of any assessment, the businesses will have power to go for a review of the assessment, which is tax assessment review. And this is one more layer which has been introduced. And after that, he can go to reconsideration. Then he can go to tax dispute resolution committee, which is more of a tribunal from an India perspective. And after that, there are 3 levels of court, and the highest level is the Supreme Court. With this, I think the last one I can talk about is that in terms of the language, the Arabic is the official language. However, under the recent changes, they have also said that if in case the documents are submitted in any language other than Arabic, it can be submitted, but the accuracy of those information submitted would be on the businesses. So, these are the changes which were done recently under the UAE VAT law, the tax procedure law, and also the executive regulations to the UAE VAT law. Thank you so much. Yes, Viraj, handing over to you back.
Thank you so much, Pratik sir, for the nice deliberation on the recent updates. So I think now we can open the floor for the question answer. We have Ankur sir and we have Pratik sir for all the question answer. We would like to request attendees, all the attendees who are watching on GoToWebinar, who is live on our platform, to ask question, and one by one we'll ask to the panelist. So first question we have from CA Unmesh ji. Sir, what is the initial step to be taken by Indian CFO starting tax or VAT and upcoming corporate tax practice in UAE? Kindly guide.
Should I take that up, Ankur?
Yeah.
So, sir, basically, I think for first and foremost step for any person to start working for a new jurisdiction, I would use it 2 things. You need to ensure, one, you need to be technically thorough and completely updated about the legislative changes which are there. So you need to first of all understand what is the law, what are the rules which are issued, or so you need to be technically updated as far as the local market is concerned. In second aspect, what I would request for you to be gearing up for this market would be to get the cultural or the local market feel, because every jurisdiction or every country works on a different philosophy. So the way we work with, let's say, clients in India, with they having multiple years of experience of working in the tax environment, as opposed to when you deal with clients over here who are fairly new as far as adopting to any taxation regime is concerned, the dealing with the clients is completely different, and that's what it requires you to be aware about the market realities or the regional realities is something to be more updated about. So once you are ready with these 2 aspects, I think you can take up any assignment as far as the taxation is concerned in this region.
Thank you, sir. We have a flooded question continuously. So one question is, does the new tax law is applicable to free zone entities as well? 9% tax. I think Dineshji, this is about corporate tax, so we have a session tomorrow. So we can, you can ask tomorrow for that session. One question from Amiji, what is the scope for valuation and M&A services in UAE?
So I think these practices are already operating, and these are independent of any tax changes or the tax related developments happening, because any mergers or acquisition or any cross-border mergers acquisition are a routine feature across the globe. There you may see that some kind of acquisitions are happening, let's say in US, UK, and they have a presence in India and UAE. So you would need the valuation team's presence or a support over here. So definitely there exists a scope for a valuation expert also in the market. But compared to the routine work that we've been doing as a normal chartered accountant in the field of accounts, audits, and taxation work, it has a relatively limited, I would say, market as far as exploring is concerned. But the other routine services has enough of larger opportunity to explore.
We have one more question from Vishnu Ji. Opportunities for law graduate in tax advisory and litigation.
So, I'll take this question just to add to what Pratik has said, that, in terms of the litigation. So what we have seen is litigation at the court levels, you have to be fluent in Arabic. So that is something which is very, very important, because when you are dealing with the government department and also dealing with the courts, you have to be fluent in Arabic. So that is something which is essential. So litigation per se, we have seen that a lot of lawyers which are fluent in Arabic, they are they are excelling in that. So that is one part. But in addition to that, again, lawyers definitely will have a say, or they will have a good opportunity under the GCC, because taxation and from a advisory practice perspective, definitely they can add value, because we here also there are advanced rulings where we say clarifications. The clients require the memos, legal advices, and a lot of issue. The due diligence from a tax perspective also is very, very important, because these days on mergers and acquisition deal, tax is also an important part, because that also has to be seen. So all those aspects are there. So I would definitely say that the lawyers will have more growth in terms of if they are doing other than litigation, if they are doing more on advisory and compliance, they will have more growth here in the region.
Right, sir. So what are the opportunities to provide as an service as a consultant from India?
Enormous. So as Ankur also said, and as I also see, let's say both of us, we have our office presence in UAE, and we also have our office presence in India, wherein the professionals from the field are working at both the locations. Depending on your need and requirement, if you wish to relocate your base to Middle East, yes, we do have, let's say, as in the opportunities for the chartered accountants is there in UAE also, but there are equal opportunities available across Big Fours and other such mid organizations, wherein they have started setting up the delivery of excellence center in India, and there is enough of opportunity available. Also, on a need basis, on a project basis, these people can visit or travel to UAE and spend about 3 months, 6 months, a year kind of a scenario, to get the global perspective, as well as continue to be associated with the local Indian market. So definitely a fairly large opportunity available, and we are seeing it increasing day by day.
So, sir, what kind of role shall be practicing CA who has more than 5 years, 7 years experience in traditional practice along with management consultancy shall target for as a job purpose in UAE?
So what we have seen is, Pratik, I'll take this.
Yeah, please.
Yeah. So what we have seen, so corporate similar to India. So we have seen a lot of tax team being, made here in the UAE, and similarly with the introduction, with the recent possible introduction of the corporate tax, there has been large organizations have an indirect tax team separate and a direct tax team. They are also recruiting for that. So any person, if he wants from a if you're joining any corporate, you definitely need to ensure that you have an understanding of their business, how business operate in this region. There are a lot of family groups which operates in the region, which is different to what we have seen in India. Correct. So this is a difference. So you need to first understand or learn about the basics of this country, how it operates. Secondly is how the business operate in this region, and third is how you can fit and how you can value add. And definitely you have to be a subject matter expert. So there are, as I said, that there can be a position like a tax manager, So indirect tax manager, so you need to know the indirect tax properly. You should have read about the provision of this law. You should have a practical experience, or if you have more years of experience, then you can even become a head of tax. So again, there, the experience of multiple jurisdiction, experience of working in this region, that will play a key role. But having said that, we have seen there are a lot of opportunities which are available in the market in relation to roles in the companies or the corporates.
Right. Thank you, sir. So we have a question from Amit Ji. What is the most common accounting software used by the most of the businesses in UAE? Like we have a Tally in India, so that kind of software. Tally, okay.
So most common, I would put it, okay. So typically I can say 80-20 rule, which is applied here as well. Close to about 80% of the businesses which would represent SME to upper mid segment kind of a business, they all go on either Tele or some of them on Zoho. The upper 20% segment, which are the large multinationals or the large local groups, they go with SAP or Oracle. But yeah, largely on Tele.
We have a question from Sushil J. Is our India CA practice certificate COP of ICAI to sign audit report in UAE is valid?
No, as Hari sir said in the initial introduction itself, that you need to appear for certain examinations in UAE and get those certifications from UAE. Once you are eligible for that, then only you can sign up. Till that time, Indian COP does not necessarily or does not mandatorily allow you to sign up or certify any audit report over here.
Okay, sir. One more question. Will it be easy for Indian CA to move back to India after spending 10 years job in Dubai?
So maybe I don't know. It's again depend upon. We have seen both way movement which has happened. Okay, so we have seen people after doing 10 years in India moving here, and we have seen people after working here for substantial period, they're moving back to India. It depends upon which profile you are in. Say today we are talking about more from a taxation perspective. So what I can say is that though the provisions here, or in terms of it's more of not as complicated as India, but still I can say if somebody who's practicing here or is working here, and if there is a need for him to go back to India, there is some need of rewinding himself for some period, but he will be able to survive back. There is no, like, you're not like before the implementation of taxation, like before 2018, I could have said that there would be a lot of difficulties for people here to go back and work. But now within this region, there is everything. So if you see from a tax perspective, indirect tax is there, direct tax is coming, ESR is there, AML is there. So the way the reporting and all those things are happening, we see a lot of changes which are there, and definitely people, what I feel is either way can work from India. India can come and definitely can work here, and from here they can also go and work in India.
Okay. Sir, where will you get the VAT related book or updated textbook for UAE?
So unlike India, there is no such publication house or no such place where you get regular textbooks of different or let's say taxman's textbook or some other people text. Such kind of a thing is not available over here. Most of the legislations are regularly updated on the government portal itself, and that is the best source to get the information available. Apart from that, there are few tax portals, like for example the way we have Tax Management India, Tax Sutra, Tax India Online. Similar to that, there are portals over here, like Tax Sutra has its own portal over here. When you refer to them, you get all of those legislation and taxes duly updated available there. But as such, textbook wise, no, there are no textbooks. Ankur is writing one. Hopefully, we should be getting one out very soon. But till that time, we need to wait.
I just need a co-author, so I'll talk to Pratik and we'll finish it soon.
Surely.
Right, sir. Right. So, sir, how one question from Karanji: how do we approach businesses in UAE? We have an experience in India being new to the UAE market. So, how do we approach people? As in referral is one of the best way, but otherwise, as
I think obviously I'll start and ask Ankur also to share his thoughts. But the point is, you need to be visible and you need to establish yourself over here in this market. Possibly one of the best platform is to start yourself being regularly present in the CA Institute's webinar or the seminars over here. That's a very large networking place because more than 1,000, 2,000 chartered accountants are available. Many of them working in the profession, many of them working in industry and different places. So that is definitely one of the way wherein you can start building your connects and contacts over here. Otherwise, also, if you see in your existing India clients in context, many of them would have the presence in GCC. So you need to reach out to your existing clients connections, find out if they have any GCC presence that can become your head start as far as GCC is concerned. And maybe I'll ask Ankur to share his thoughts on that.
Yeah, definitely. What I completely agree to what Pratik said. Visibility is the key here in this market. One thing, we need everybody has to understand that this market is quite different from how India operates. It's a very small market, so visibility, your networking, your referrals, your relationship, these are the key here. So and after that, the knowledge. So all five things are very, very important for you to get success here. In case any of those things are not there, it becomes difficult. So whoever is want to come here, these are the key. So these are the things he should be aware of, and some mindset change is also required because this is very different from how India operates.
right, sir. Right. One question from RG, that how we can approach UAE consultancy firm to explore risk advisory services.
So you have got contact details of Pratik and Ankur both. Both of us represent a reasonably decent consulting firm in UAE. Feel free. Hari sir has also shared his contact details. Doors are always open, sir.
Yes. Sir, as a newly qualified, one person is just qualified in our result, which is recently declared. Should he directly search for job in UAE, or first he should take some experience here?
So what I believe is, again, it depends upon where you see yourself, after 5 years or 10 years, and where you want, what is your domain. So say, for example, who have recently qualified, has done an articleship in taxation. This is the right opportunity to come here because it's a massive change which is happening. Implementation is something which comes once in a lifetime, sort of an experience. So if somebody who has an experience in direct tax while doing an articleship, even indirect tax, so he can definitely, this is the right time to come to this region because corporate tax is coming, and even taxation, there are a lot of things, lot of changes which are coming in some of the countries. E-invoicing has already been there. So in the UAE also it will come. We expect that. Then intra GCC rules can come when the Qatar and Kuwait will implement VAT. So all those things are there, which thinks that there are a lot of opportunity for taxation in the region for the freshers. But again, it is very, very important. What is your passion? Whether you like taxation or not. Have you done articleship in taxation? Then you can come here. But if you're half prepared, you don't know, then I will not suggest. Then it is better to be first prepared in India and then you move.
Right, sir. Sir, for Indians having around 3 years of experience in corporate and international taxation in India, what can be the salary range that can be expected? I think he may be approaching the international that campus placement. He may have filled that form, and there are 100 of vacancies there. So he may be one of the candidate. He is asking the question.
I think Virag, it's a fairly open-ended question. If you ask me today, also in India, do you have any standardization to say that if a person with a 3 years of experience, he may earn X amount in Big Four, he may earn Y amount in mid-size firm, he may earn Z amount in a small size firm, and he may earn another different amount in his own practice. So it also depends on your own capabilities, qualities, the way you perform, the way you provide services, how technically sharp you are, which area in which you are expertise. You are a compliance person, are you a litigation person, are you a structuring or advisory kind of a person? So there are multiple variable factors. You cannot assign a fixed salary to that. However,
Right.
broadly to get a range or an idea, I think Ravi sir in his presentation has shared the designations and the salary range. From that itself, one can try to make out that if you are at a 3 years experience, what kind of a salary range you would expect, or if you're at a 5-year experience, what kind of a salary range one can expect. But it is fairly difficult to stereotype the same.
Right, sir. So just again another question with respect to same. So for newly qualified or who has a 3+ year of experience, how job market is there in UAE? It's a good or it is a
It is waiting for the candidates to come.
okay. So it's a open market and they are welcoming Indian chartered accountant with the open heart.
Especially during this time, and I'm sure Ankur would also agree to that we are about to experience an unprecedented movement when there is already a history of taxation regime. We have already seen one wave of VAT implementation, so people know what it takes to be ready from a new tax regime perspective. We are about to witness the second wave, and that's where, from the learning from the first wave, where some people have lately started, now they don't want to miss the bus, and they are all waiting for the good qualified chartered accountants or maybe even experienced chartered accountants to help them with their Indian knowledge. So certainly the demand is very much there. Whether you physically relocate to Dubai or you want to operate from India and focus on GCC or Dubai market, in both the situation, the demand is fairly high.
Right, sir. Sir, in terms of who want to into a practice, so for them it's a right time, and in which area basically, as an specialization or a general practice, what you suggest, sir?
Ankur, would you want to take up?
Pratik, I think you have done this, so I think I'll ask you to answer.
I think, in my personal opinion, you may find it to be a little bit biased, but gone are the days when people become generalist.
Correct.
Now the client expects you to be the specialist or the master in the particular subject. If you say that I can do accounting also, I can do auditing also, I can do taxation also, there is no enough of weightage for that. As opposed to if you say that I am the transfer pricing expert, I am the corporate tax expert, I am the VAT expert, the prospects for the specialized service domain expertise is definitely better for any professional to be operating from here, unless you say that you are a multidisciplinary firm. Let's say, for example, Ankur represents an organization called MMJS. They have a department which does auditing also. They have a department which does taxation also. They have a department which does, let's say, other advisory services also. In that situation, case that somebody is focusing on one expertise, other partner is focusing on different area of expertise, it's a different thing. But as an individual, if you say I do everything, I don't think so. That would have a far better acceptance from the client side.
Right, sir. Sir, for outsourcing practice from India or outsourcing work from India, what kind of expertise is expected from a chartered accountant, that he can get a work from Dubai or any firm or directly?
Yeah, so here, again, I'll restrict my comment from a tax outsourcing, and I'll ask Pratik to add in case any. Very, very important, as again I'll say that it is very, very important to understand what services is required. You need to understand the law. You need to understand how returns are getting filed here. So the basic knowledge should be there, and after the basic knowledge, the skill set you have, the team which you have, which you will have, because the outsourcing service is basically required for either clients or even for the consulting firm where they will be having a large volume of data, and your team should be sufficient enough to, or you should have systems or processes within your firm where you can actually deliver to them and provide a solution which they are looking at a very reasonable price. That is why they will come to you. So all those things are important. So if you can foresee providing these things, then definitely there is a good market for outsourcing as well. But if you don't want to do like this and just package your India product in the UAE market, then it becomes difficult.
Sir, any practicing CA want to start his office there? So what kind of registration is required, or he can directly start as well? Any registration is required, or how to go?
Technically speaking, any person who wants to conduct any business or a commercial activity in UAE would require the local license. The way, let's say, we have either be it a sole proprietorship or it's a partnership or it's an LLC company, whatever it is, you need to obtain the license from the regulatory authority. There are broadly two types of regulatory authorities. One, the free zone authorities. Depending on which free zone you select, you have to take an approval from the respective free zone authority, or a mainland authority wherein Dubai Economic Department or the respective Emirates Economic Department, you have to go reach out to them, apply for the business activities, let's say be it a tax consultancy service or a management consultancy service or an accounting service or whatever it is. And once your services are approved, you will get the license to operate in the region. Once you get a license to operate, it means you are eligible now to employ resources. And once you receive any employees, you need to get into their visa and other labor card applications and everything, and you can set up your presence in the country. So to start with, you need to have the local license from the regulatory authority.
So it's an online process, or one has to visit the department?
At least once you need to visit. For some of the signatures and other aspects, or including some of the verification purpose, you need to visit once. Rest can be managed online.
We have one senior person, senior professional. He has worked in top MNC for 13 years in Delhi region, moved to practice, and he has done CA in 2008. LLB also has done. He is now insolvency professional. He is planning to relocate into GCC for diversification. So can someone, any panelist can advise something, can join any reputed organization as well?
So, sir, I think what I heard is he has got some expertise in insolvency law. Now, insolvency legislation is very specific to India as of now, if I'm not wrong. So we need to understand and identify whether the similar legislations do exist over here and what is the scope for that particular practice over here. What we can suggest between me, myself and Ankur is more from a taxation perspective. If you would have got about, let's say, 10, 12, 13, 15 years of experience in the field of taxation, working in a big four organization and then in your own practice, certainly you can relocate over here and there is enough and more opportunity for you. But in the field of insolvency legislation and other aspects, possibly I may not be the right person to comment.
Yes, sir. Sir, do we need any other qualification for starting CA practice in UAE?
I
No.
think, yeah, you don't require anything, and this we already covered this question. Yeah.
Certified in IFRS. Okay, he's IFRS is relevant in Dubai, sir. IFRS, or how far it is specialization is required in that?
So
Yeah, so again, from an IFRS perspective, we specialize in from a tax perspective, but whatever we have heard from an IFRS perspective, it depends upon some of the free zone. If they specialize, the accounts has to be prepared as per the IFRS, so which is there. But what we have seen is most of the MNCs and the big size companies, they definitely get their audited conducted through the IFRS principles only. So that is there, and with the introduction of corporate tax, it would definitely be important that though I understand that there is no provision which clearly specified that what are types of accounting principles would be generally accepted, but IFRS being globally recognized would be somewhere which would be required. So per se, it is more a question from an accounting advisory perspective. But we have seen a lot of professionals doing IFRS practice also in the region.
Sir, for someone who is new to the GCC compliance industry, how does this compare to the Indian GST or income tax practice, risk versus reward wise as an GCC compliance practice?
So I think as Ankur's already answered this earlier partially, to say that if at all you are planning to do this kind of a compliances back from India, then somebody would outsource the work to you only if you are cost efficient and cost effective. So you cannot expect sitting in India, you would earn everything in dollars or dirhams or in multiple different currencies, because your cost base or your infrastructure cost is also from India. At the same time, if you do the same work by sitting physically in UAE, definitely you would earn in a better currency rate. But compared to that, your expenses are also on a higher side. So from a risk reward perspective, one can say that compared to your cost, you are being appropriately remunerated. It is never the fact that you incur the cost in India, let's say 100, and you earn the revenue of UAE, which is multiplied by 20. It can't work that way. It has to be in sync with the cost and risk reward ratio. Certainly, yes. Currently, because there is a heavy demand which is being created on account of introduction of the new tax and all of that, as on today, one can say that the clients are in the panic mode or offering a higher fees to the consultants to get ready for the new regime. So as an exception, one can say that yes, for the time being, one may earn a better reward compared to the Indian practicing chartered accountants or the professionals. But that's momentary. It has to settle down over a period as a demand supply ratio.
So again, it's a similar kind of question. So what are the opportunities for outsourcing taxation work from UAE to India, and what way Indian CA can tap it? And also the Dubai chapter facilitate this for Indian CAs.
I think I partially answered this question. So the same, and I think regarding the ICAI, I think Hari ji would be the right person to update us that what chapter will do.
So, why are the most of the finance profile requirement having preference for UAE experience, even if we have a similar experience in India? Don't they consider Indian experience?
No, because the market is different, the market reality is different, the laws are different, the culture is different. You can't compare the two.
Any certification course kind of for UAE VAT for experienced CA to get job in GCC? Any course kind of is there?
There are courses which are happening. So there is let's say PwC Academy, which is conducting certain courses, which is affiliated with the UK institute, or the tax authorities have also announced a particular course to be conducted, and one can appear for that courses as well. But it is not a mandate to get the job. You can do it to enhance your knowledge is one thing, but there is no mandate to do that course.
Even ICAI is doing one course, so that again just agree with Pratik. So these are just for your knowledge addition. It doesn't give any guarantee for the job.
Sir, UAE VAT and Saudi VAT are similar, or how it is, sir?
Largely similar, with basic difference as far as some country specific changes, like UAE VAT has 5%, Saudi has 15%, but the concept remains the same.
Sir, someone has recently started there, is it important to approach clients in UAE through a practicing firm, or as an individually also they can approach?
Up to them.
You
can reach out for business. If you ask me, see, I am Gujarati, Ankur is Marwadi. We believe for reaching out to client for a business, you don't need a method, you don't need a science. You just need to reach out. You reach out anyway. Sham dam dand ved sab karo, client ko pahuncho aap.
So again, I mean, similar kind of question. Please suggest how to initially start with practicing in UAE if I am into practicing in India and having experience of 5+ years.
I think I have already answered that in fairly detailed manner to say that what all steps you need to do, what are the prerequisites to have that starting point, how can you set up over here, what are the requisites for setting up all of that. You need to be aware about the culture, you need to read the registration over here, you need to reach out to your existing India clients to give you some work over here. That has been already covered appropriately. Virat, can we take up last couple of questions quickly?
Yes. Sure. What are the charges of filing return? Is there any list of charges against the services?
Do we have any charges in India for doing the tax consulting work? See, we are not in the restaurant business. We can't have a menu card to say that मैं ये return का इतना charge करता हूँ या तो मैं इसका इतना charge. जैसा client का capability, जैसा complexity और जैसा मेरा team cost, I cannot templatize the charges.
Correct. And you know, one thing which I wanted to add to what Pratik said, that what the level of questions which is coming. One thing which is important is that if you want to come to this region and to any region, even when most of us are from small cities and we went to Bombay, Delhi metros to work, the intention is first to learn, to give value addition to the client. The revenue definitely will come, but these questions which I am seeing is everybody is interested in how much we can earn. So if you only think of earning rather than giving the value addition to the clients, or rather than you yourself learning a lot, then it will not help. You just don't, because how you do business, we all see shark tanks and all those things. There can be certain period where you will not make money. You will have certain period where there will be losses also, but you should be strong enough. You should add value to the client, then only you will survive. So again, it's more of a point where we have seen businesses grow here or consulting grows here. Day one, you don't see that you will make profits. There will some time you have to, they always say that either you win or either you learn. So one way you have to learn also here when you come here.
Sir, for job, one should try from here itself, or they should come as an on travel visa or tourist visa, and after that they can explore there. There is a
so I think both the options are possible. As Hari sir suggested, there are various websites that he was referring in his presentation and which he will be sharing with the aspirants. So definitely you can start applying on those portals from there, and the moment you start receiving some traction, you can travel over here on a visit visa, appear for an interview, and the reasonable possibility is that during your visit period itself, you may get a confirmed job appointment. But you need to start some groundwork from there, because some of the basic questions that we encounter, whenever the particular candidate that comes is, we offer them saying that how much do you think you would be spending as a standard of living, and you are like, okay sir, I have to think about it. So you need to do some of your homework and groundwork to say that when I'm going there, what is going to be my spending, what is it that I need to start because I'm starting as a fresher, what is it that the bare minimum I need to earn like a intern or a fresh chartered accountant or whatever it is, and then gradually take it up. So you need to do some groundwork while you are sitting in India, start applying from there. There are various LinkedIn portals and other job portals which will give you that facility. And the moment you start seeing some traction, travel down on a visit visa, and possibly is fairly on a higher side that you may get a confirmed job.
Right. Sir, what are other than UAE? What are the other countries which is opportunity for women CA, as in they are considering as an security and all other aspect, which is a good other than UAE, which are the other GCC country they can look of.
My independent view is there cannot be any other location than UAE as the best place for women to work over here. I have personally traveled to Kuwait, Saudi, Oman, and many other region and location, but the kind of environment which UAE has to offer, especially for female aspirants, I would put it is far better off here. Not that the other countries are not good, but compared to the fact that if you are operating from India and you would need some bit of a democratic environment comparatively, UAE would offer you that platform as compared to other GCC nations.
Can we take last two questions?
Yeah, so I think, sir, we have covered almost all the questions. The same repeated question is there, sir. So just one or two questions for me. The recording will be available on YouTube as we are already on YouTube live. So you will get that. Tomorrow we will cover a entire on corporate taxes, and obviously a few of the question on corporate tax and other question like today you asked, you can ask because the faculty and the panelists are different, so they can have different views also. So few of the question we will take similar kind of, and more of such more we have a session. Entire tomorrow session is on corporate tax, which is a newly launched, and I think we are waiting for regulation, right, sir? Regulation is not yet come.
Yes, it is yet to be announced.
So it also may be announced within a fortnight or within a month or even less than that. So after that we have a more clarity, but also what is already launched, what is available. So for that tomorrow we have a wonderful session of 2 hours again on the same time. So thank you so much, sir.
One thing from our side, if at all there are any aspirants who would either want to explore the opportunities in UAE, or they want to explore opportunities from in India but working for GCC market, they can reach out to Ankur or myself. We have shared our contact details any which case, and would be happy to consider the candidature.
Great. That will be great help for all the attendees who is attending live as of now and who will watch the recording. So thank you so much, sir, Ankur sir and Pratik sir, for the wonderful deliberation entire on UAE, overall UAE also, and particularly on UAE VAT. Thank you for the wonderful deliberation and answering all the questions, all the repeated question as well. And I am sure that attendee will has a great benefit out of this, and they will surely connect with you also. So once again, all are requesting for the contact details. So if you can share one by one contact detail, how they can reach, you can give your email ID as well. So that will be beneficial for the attendees.
So first I'll share, Ankur, then you will share.
Yeah.
So my contact details, my name is Pratik Shah. My email ID is pratik.shah, pratik.shah, pratik.shah@tmsl.in. T for Tokyo, M for Manali, S for Singapore, L for London, tmsl.in. pratik.shah@tmsl.in is my email ID. I have two numbers, one for India, 9833532232, 9833532232, and my UAE number is 05595782232. Ankur, your details, please.
Yes. As you know, my name is Ankur Jain, and you can connect me on my official ID, which is email address is Ankur, ANKUR, A for America, N for Netherlands, K for Kenya, U for Uganda, R for Rajasthan, Ankur@MMJS. Yeah, MMJS.co. It's not com.co. So you can reach out to me on my official email, and definitely if the right candidate is there, we'll be willing to help you.
Beside this, would like to request all the attendees to connect Pratik ji and Ankur ji on LinkedIn as well, So both are very active on LinkedIn as well. And as I already told Harish sir as well, that LinkedIn is one of the a professional network which is also considered in UAE by all the professional. So it will be very helpful for you for a long-term association with both the panelists, and also you can connect other panelists as well. So thank you so much, Ankurji and Pratikji, for wonderful deliberation. And they are asking for the presentation as well. So please mail to me. I will forward to all the attendees, and we'll have a great session in future. Also, we'll like to invite again and again on our forum for the wonderful deliberation on VAT also, and on other topics. I think you both are speaking on multiple forums on multiple topics as well. So we'll keep inviting you. Thank you so much for accepting our invitation once again. Thank you.
Thank you.
So with this, we are concluding our today's session. Yes, yes, Ankur.
Thank you.
So friends, we are concluding our today's session for on time here at around 9:30 almost, and we'll meet sharp tomorrow 7:30 Indian time for the corporate tax. Entire corporate tax will be discussing. We are discussing tomorrow. Thank you all. Thank you.